Hello and welcome everyone to Atoms Are Galaxies. This is the meandering metaphysics of Zarbo, your host, me. Today we're going to be talking about the fundamental forces. It's going to be the last episode in this sort of opening jaunt of information. And here we're just going to talk about the four fundamental forces. I know recently that kind of got knocked down to three by the merging of the weak nuclear force and electromagnetic force into the electrostatic. But for this episode, and for clarity, I am going to keep them separate because they'll have their parts. So anyways, let's get rid of this title and let's get right into it. It does not have to be a long episode, as we can just bounce on and bounce off. So first off, let's do the strong nuclear force, just because I think if there is going to be a fundamental force to stay fundamental, this is sort of one or two of them. As mentioned earlier, you have the twist, which is the black hole, or what I call the twist, at the center of the four-brain double torus. So as you have, let's say here's the black hole or the twist, I'll just label that BH, and you have your energy coming in. Give it some spin as well, so I'm going to make it look like this, and that way kind of does look like a galaxy as well. Right? And then we just get rid of the example line. So the three energy from 369 coming into the twist and then also getting expelled out of it. In another episode we can talk about that. But this actual energy going down into the twist and becoming antimatter 6 energy is the strong nuclear force. It's all the string energy, or the four-brain double torus energy, coming into the center, compiling, creating all that space, and pushing through the twist. And it's this cyclone down, basically, an eddy, a water eddy of energy that we experience the strong nuclear force. So that's the strong nuclear force. Let's leave this up to describe the weak nuclear force. This might actually need a little bit of a pre-info on it as well. Let's dot all the stars around here on our galaxy. And the neat thing about galaxies, what most people I think don't know, is that the galactic arms, the energy arms, and the actual suns and stars move in opposite directions. So here you would have the arms moving this way, where the dots or the stars would move this way. A really neat example, anyone can do this. I use wine because I find a wine glass is really easy to do it with, but obviously if you're not of drinking age, you can just go get water and get a wine glass because it's super easy. But fill it up halfway or whatever, and then take your fingers, just your two fingers, put it on the base of the glass and slowly start circling it. And what you'll notice is that the liquid in the glass goes the wrong way, or the opposite way, because it's pushing off the glass. So if the glass is turning counterclockwise, the liquid is turning clockwise. And this is the exact same thing here with the stars. You have the energy coming in counterclockwise, and the stars, kind of like a friction burn, are actually rotating clockwise as opposed to counterclockwise. And I guess pre-definition, just to be overly explicit, the strong nuclear force, which you described first, is the force that holds the atom together, and the weak nuclear force is the force that rips an atom apart. Obviously, being weaker than the strong force, the atom stays together. It's actually quite significantly weaker, like 1/1000th or 1/10,000th or something to that effect. And again, circling back on sort of a tidbit of information a few episodes back, you only have the proton, which is a proton and electron merged into one, and your neutrons are actually just viewed from the outside, or the matter that you see right here, like the desk or the whiteboard. You're outside of the influence of these atoms, so you actually see them from the outside. It's a whole monad. So the stars being right here, rotating the opposite way, are all the neutrons, basically, of the atom. And If you did happen to take the strong nuclear force away, let's say the 3 and 6 energy just disappeared, all this incoming energy disappeared, and the twist disappeared, all these suns and stars would still be rotating clockwise around this non-existent center anymore, but they would start dissipating out because nothing actually was holding them together. There's no strong nuclear force, so you'd actually see the stars dissipating away from the core, and this would be the weak nuclear force. So since you have this eddy of strong nuclear force coming in and creating a whirlpool, it holds all the stars in the galactic center. You get rid of that, the stars would start falling away, and that pressure that they want to exert to fly away is the weak nuclear force. They just can't, because the force of the 3-6 energy coming in holds it there. So there's your strong and your weak nuclear force explained. Electrostatic we're just going to jump on, because these are both oscillating energies, where electrostatic is just straight line energy. And yeah, that's basically, everyone already knows electromagnetic. Beyond, I'm not changing it at all for this theory, it's still like that. So this leaves one more, gravity, and physicists today can't really stitch gravity into the whole idea of the cosmos, the whole idea of everything. It kind of sits on the outside. You have your 3 fundamental forces, and then a big gravity over here with a big question mark and saying, how do we make that equal? And you're not going to be able to make it equal, because it's not a fundamental force, it's a reaction. Let me explain. You have something like Earth right here. This is Earth. Look at that. Amazing. And it's being hit by 360 spherical degrees of energy. So you have 100% of energy coming this way, 100% of energy coming this way, 100% of energy coming this way, and 100% of energy coming that way. Also, here 100%, from the back 100%. So it holds that object, or Earth, in a central location. However, you come over here and you put a sun, or what I'd like to call a buffer, and as the 100% of energy comes through the buffer, or to the buffer, it's 100%, but then it dissipates as it goes through, and now we only have 50% of the energy hitting Earth from this side. So you can see that gravity, with the fictitious subparticle of the graviton, doesn't actually exist. It's not being pulled towards this, it's being pushed towards this object. And that's why gravity is so elusive, because it doesn't actually exist as a reactionary force of all this sort of, let's say, 3-6 or electromagnetic energy coming and hitting this object all the time. You put a buffer in between, and voila, you experience something called gravity, just by them pushing together and this energy in between being deficient. So, anyways, that's the last episode for today. I did stitch the 2 last episodes together. I was going to give Gravity its own episode, so there are actually only 5 to start, not 6. I do hope you like it. I'm going to upload these now, wait for some question comments to percolate in, start brainstorming some new ideas, and then hopefully in a week or 2 I can release another batch of small 5-minute videos. So I hope you do enjoy it. It's going to be a great adventure. Don't think it too kooky yet until you dive in a little bit further. And as always, questions, comments, concerns, curiosities, both negative and positive, please leave it below. If you do like this series, don't forget to subscribe, and you will be notified as soon as I upload next. See you around.